All right. It's kind of random how it goes. You are live, it says. Are we live now? Sorry for being a minute late.
Oh, there we go. The ad just popped up.
Alrighty then. Sorry, folks.
And you're live.
We're alive. We're alive.
It's alive!
Still not getting used to this streaming stuff. I'm still a boomer, I guess. Well, welcome back, everyone. It's another weird episode. We're still not back to our original schedule of doing IDW and Sonic X because I still insist on making a skit for every single Sonic X episode, but I'm a little busy because I want Sonic and Knuckles and Minutes finished this weekend or on Monday at the latest. So we're doing another lazy one. Ah!
Greetings, friends! Did you hear the Werehog is in Sonic Force's speed battle now?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Does he?
I've already unlocked him naturally, and it's pretty fantastic. I like that he starts off as Sonic, but as soon as the race starts, he turns into the Werehog. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's neat.
Ah, true love. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, honestly, I am just so excited about this. I hope he also gets added to Sonic Dash. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think he's going to be added to Sonic Dash, but not yet, so I still have to wait my turn because I'm more into Sonic Dash.
I don't always get how the crossovers work. Sometimes they do kind of work together, sometimes they don't. Oh well.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think we ever hardly see Werehog Sonic fully run because in his stages in Elite, he mostly just fights enemies.
That's right. And now we see him in daytime.
Well, then again, he was, I think he was one of the playable characters in Sonic Runners back when that game used to be a thing.
He was, yes. I never got around to unlocking him in that game, unfortunately.
Yeah, same here.
And now no longer exists.
Yeah, and the sequel never added him, so...
Yeah, it's a real shame, because, like, you look at Sonic Runners, like, yeah, it's, in some ways it's kind of like a better way of being more of a celebratory game of the franchise, because they pull out, like, almost every freaking character from the Sonic franchise, and then the remake comes out, and it's just a watered-down, washout, you know, the Wisps are no longer there, there's only 9 playable characters, and, yeah, there's barely anything in that version.
Yeah,
No
the original even had Mephiles, which...
Nice.
Oh, yeah, the original had Mephiles, yeah.
Yeah, that crazy idea. And it had original music. Shame that's gone now, too. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was quite a fright you gave us there, Captain. You're 2 weeks early. Halloween's still for next time.
It is never too early for spooks.
Yeah, once October hits, then bam, skeletons, ghosts, and zombies and all that jazz.
Indeed we are. And as a matter of fact, we will do a little other spooky thing today as well. We're going to look into a weird manga that Melting Man has dug up for us. That's kind of spooky.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We're already getting
really this one.
And of course, IDW is also still kind of spooky with all the zombots. So whether we want it or not, this will have a spooky theme already. That's it. People aren't already tired of all the ghost stuff this but that's October for you. Yeah, so let's dig in. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is there's like a new. Last time we talked about the fan game competition going on, and now there's like a Sonic modding competition going on. There were a couple interesting Sonic Forces mods, which I always found it kind of interesting to look at. It's kind of fascinating to me how, like, based on what games you're starting with, what kind of mods those games get. Like the classic games usually just get new level design and all that, and Sonic Adventure usually gets more like comedy mods, like where you suddenly play as the president or you play as Dr. Eggman, or they just kind of swap little details around. But then Sonic Generations gets entirely new levels because we always wanted to have like more DLC levels, and this is quite a shame they never gave those to us. But then Sonic Forces, all the mods are focused entirely on story, which I found very fascinating. I mean, that's what we already kind of talked about with the fan games before, that there was consistently more focus on story now, that slowly we're getting more into the cinematic flair of Sonic, rather than just the programming behind it, so...
that's cool.
So that leads us to, or led me to kind of look into some Sonic Forces mods that we're making because they're very impressive. Have you guys looked into a couple?
Not really.
Oh, I watched the videos of a few of them. They're very interesting. They've got like their own cutscenes and voice acting and stuff. Even their own avatar items. One of which really amused me. It was just tan arms, so you can give your avatar tan arms.
Yeah, a bit shame they were never that creative or give you that much freedom with your characters because people love making fan characters.
Right?
I was weird they were so basic with that, but I guess they were just really scared of the Game Grumps crowd of making fun of them, even though the Game Grumps crowd would still make fun of them either way. But yeah, it's cool that mods are finally taking that spot in. There was
Most I've seen with the Sonic Forces mod is, well, the first one I'm more familiar with is there's a Discord group called, I think it's called SFM/Gmod Avatar Community, and it's basically a place where people show off like all these model making skills of giving the avatar more details, more interesting costumes, and also experimenting with a lot more animal species. Because I know there's some concept art somewhere showing off that the avatar had a lot more animal species planned, but those all got scrapped. So yeah, leave it to the community there to pick up the slack there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, a couple of mods that I looked into. There was one was kind of old already, but was about Episode Shadow, where they actually put the first level in the correct location. It was kind of weird that the first level was the city, even though the comic and the text, what they say, clearly indicates it's supposed to take place in the pyramid. And man, it really helps because immediately the story clicks much better. That's one of the running themes I see with those Forces mods. It's like the game did have all the puzzle pieces to make a good game already ready to go, but they never assembled them correctly. And now
and I believe there's a mod where they put in a proper fight against chaos.
Yes.
Oh
yeah,
I've seen that one too, where there's a more proper boss battle against Chaos Zero instead of just being abruptly killed off.
Yeah, he's just there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there was actually an interesting discovery made about the actual Sonic Forces, where the level where Infinite just starts messing with reality as you go through the level, there's these giant tentacle monsters with his head on them. But if you take the camera inside of them, the inside of their texture is just water. So it's very likely those were originally meant to be chaos.
Oh, nice. That's interesting.
I think they did it dirty in that game.
Yeah, they really did Chaos terrible. It's like, we got the weaker form of Chaos. Like, the Phantom Ruby can make illusions of anything, so why not just make the stronger version of Chaos?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's great that mods are fixing it up a lot. Kind of weird. It's kind of sad that they're all separate mods, so you would almost need some sort of like super mod that kind of adds all of them together. Kind of fix Sonic Forces, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty, I don't know much with how these kind of game mods things work. Like, I mean, in terms of, like, stuff in Gary's mod or Source Filmmaker, that's mostly like, well, there's a workshop on Steam, so you could just hit the add-on button and there you go. But with actual game add-ons for different games, that's a whole other different story.
Yeah, it's a lot abracadabra to me, too. But yeah, then there's Sonic Forces Overclock that's more of a sequel. It's kind of weird to me that they're making a sequel. I mean, technically IDW is already a sequel, and why do you want to make a sequel to Sonic Forces? Such a bad foundation. Like, much rather just have them just redo it from the ground up. Sonic Forces is such a unstable story to really follow up on. But yeah, I love it. They have all these cool art stuff.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, especially with like, oh, Infinite is back, which apparently he survived or something, but I don't know, I always considered him dead, but then again, I remember I got into an argument with some people on Twitter who defended the idea, like, no, Infinite isn't technically considered dead. It's like, to me, it's like, they lazily written him off, we never see him in IDW Sonic, because apparently he's off limits, so yeah, I consider him dead.
Yeah. My personal theory is that they never wrote Infinite to be an interesting character like he was, or at least a character at all. Like, he comes across to me like he's supposed to be just a robot like Metal Sonic. So he's supposed to just die, and you not really put any thought into it. He's just a generic robot. But they gave him too much of a cool design where he actually looked like an actual fox, and then all of a sudden they had to change the story at the last minute. I think that's why his exit is so weird. But that's just my theory.
I think Sega just did that on purpose, just as trying to appease the people that complain for years, like, oh, Sonic has too many characters, blah, 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 blah. So they're like, okay, we're going to make a new character, but we're going to make him boring as hell. That way he will never, ever, ever appear in another Sonic game again.
Well, they did that with Zavok, and he keeps coming back, so who knows?
well, the Zavok's the only excuse is, well, Zavok is just Sega's Bowser, and of course, especially with how Lost World was trying to copy off Mario Galaxy, it's like, yeah, we'll just copy off what Nintendo does. Whee!
Pretty much. Anyway, yeah, I guess we shouldn't talk too much about mods if Luca didn't play them. Anyway, yeah, I love the fact that they made much more set pieces in the levels, where in the train level you actually interact with the trains, have to dodge them yourself instead of it just being a cutscene. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another Forces mod that actually just kind of expand on the levels already in the original. And I love the fact that you can actually go much further into the geography of the original levels, especially with the city, where you can actually see a lot more of the city than you ever saw in the original game. Because that was always a shame to me. They clearly made like a giant city, but you only saw one street of it. But the geography of the city was always there. So I think the level mod just like extended the pathways Sonic goes through, and all of a sudden you see a lot more of it, including close-up of the robots attacking the city.
Oh yeah, that was real cool. That you got more up and close to the giant robots rather than just only seeing them in the background.
Yeah, and with the mission where you have to search for Shadow, it's a lot more epic now. Like he actually screams at Sonic and he starts chasing you, and there's like a little mini cutscene, and like it feels so much more impactful now. Even just the ending shot where the level ends. Like in the original game, you just end the level in a boring 2D shot, and Shadow's just kind of standing there, and it's kind of really boring. Well, in this new mod, you see the city aflame. You get a much more cinematic camera shot. It's like I said before, it's the exact same stuff that's already in the original game. It's just assembled way better. So that's so fascinating to me. It's just a matter of reassembling the puzzle pieces, and you get so much of a better result all of a sudden.
Yeah, I saw that one with Shadow being more updated, and there's more like chasing. And I watching that, and I was kind of left depressed. I'm just like, why wasn't any of this in the actual fucking game?
Yes, and my thoughts always. But yeah, I think nobody finds this interesting, so let's move on to the next topic. So, we're gonna talk about the manga the Melting Man dug up for us.
Ooh, yes. I'm very excited about this one.
Okay, Luke, can you tell us what happens in the manga?
Okay, it's a very strange story where Eggman invites Sonic to a party called a how'd you pronounce this?
Kimodeshi.
Yeah, at Eggman's house, and he built himself a robot anime schoolgirl to scare him. And Sonic turns up thinking there's going to be food, and all his friends turn up, and then the robot girl is just mucking around, and Sonic doesn't want to fight it, and the robot tries to marry him, and Sonic pulls a happy face at the end going, "We're and then Eggman falls over the end.
That pretty much sums up the story, yeah. Melting Man, can you tell us some backstory of this manga, where it comes from and how you got it?
Well, I hope you're sitting comfortably, because it's quite a long story. But I'll try and keep it short. So, alright, so basically these mangas is the Sonic Dash and Spin mangas, although its original full title is Dash and Spin Super Fast Sonic, but I just call it the Sonic Dash and Spin mangas. So right, these are mangas I've heard about for quite some time, and I remember reading some English translation of the pages. It was on, I think the ones I read them was, it was a site called Sonic Scan F. It's one of those Sonic fan sites, and they used to have a section dedicated to the comics, so they had scans of like Archie Sonic, Fleetway Sonic, and some of the mangas translated in English, so that's how I first discovered these wacky stories. But nowadays the comic section's completely nuked, so that was sad. So that is kind of the sad thing with these mangas. Like, there's 2 volumes. Most of the stories from volume 1 have been translated, but there's still some missing. And as for the second volume, no one's been able to translate it until, just now with the scary story. And I later found that out during my trip to Japan, where it turns out, like, the first volume cost, like, $30 or, like, I'm not sure the current yen count, but yeah, in US dollars, it's $30. The second volume, $60. So I found those on a used official Japanese online shopping center. So I decided to kind of bite the bullet. It's like, all right, I'll get both of them. You know, it's gonna be worth it. No one's ever talked about them. It's gonna make great material for my Forgotten Media series, and I've had these for quite a long time. And, well, the reason why I haven't properly covered them is simply because of a language barrier, because the mangas are all written in Japanese, and I can't read Japanese. So I had my sister help out with the translations, but those ended up going nowhere because she's usually very, very busy with her life. And so I had the physical copies, but then I later found full full HD scans of the mangas that were actually posted on the company's official website, Koro Koro Comics, that's made a lot of video game mangas. So the reason they did that on their official site, putting up these scans, was mostly to advertise the Japanese release of the 2020 Sonic the Hedgehog film. And it was a very limited run. It only lasted like 2 to 3 days. So when I heard about that, I was spending those days just scrambling to get on that website and grabbing all the pages I could. So yeah, I have all the pages in good quality saved on an external hard drive somewhere. There's a few bonus stories missing, but those are just short. So recently I have been able to contact someone that it is Japanese and is helping out with translating them. And that's, I'm going to butcher the name. It's Arumu, I think that's my name. He's mostly a Sonic and Crash Bandicoot modder. He's probably more well known for making the Metal Cortex boss mod for Crash 2, as well as the Sonic in Crash 2 mod, which I think that was a video you showed us one time, Roger.
Oh wow, I can't remember. It's a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. But yeah, so currently he's been busy. I recently talked to him. He said he's halfway through translating the mangas, and like with the one that I showed here, some of the text might be a little off, and it's mostly because he says that this is his first time translating a Japanese manga. And when it comes to Japanese writing, yeah, there's never really one specific writing style for Japan. There's like tons of different variants.
All right.
But yeah, that's my long rambling on the history of the Sonic Dash and Spin mangas.
Indeed. So, Captain, you know what a Kimodameshi is?
I do not, actually.
It's actually listed. Yeah, it's actually listed in the translated manga. It's basically, of course, I looked this up myself. It's that thing is a test of strength. So it's kind of like an activity that people do in Japan, where they go into some like creepy old house or someplace dangerous to test their bravery to see how brave they are, and usually try to like scare each other with like spirits or ghost stories or stuff like that.
All right, fair enough.
In that case, it's kind of weird that everyone agreed to go to Eggman's house when he told them this is what it was happening.
I still was surprised what was going on.
Sonic, we can understand because he didn't know what it was. He thought it was food.
Oh, I always found that hilarious, how Sonic's just completely oblivious in the story, thinking that it's some kind of like food or there's going to be food there, but it's like, no, it's just a test thing.
I also like to hear how they made him a big eater character like Goku.
Yeah. As if there weren't enough comparisons between Sonic and Goku.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, because it does sound like a Japanese vegetable. Like, wasn't there a very spicy vegetable that kind of sounds like that? Oh, I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I'll go ahead.
I just found it funny how Eggman's house looks like. It's just a generic Japanese house, not even like a factory or anything. That's why I kind of call this like a Japanese Sonic boom, since the fact that their Sonic characters barely even matters. It's just a random gag manga about Japanese culture that happens to star Sonic characters. So I'm really curious how the other chapters look like. But yeah, Luke, what's your opinion on this comic?
Oh, I just found it pretty hilarious. It's pretty much like the Sonic equivalent of Bo. And I also like how they made Sonic a bit of a dope. And the idea of Eggman making this giant Japanese schoolgirl robot, it kind of reminds me of I think Archer, where there's this mad scientist who made this holographic girl for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty hilarious, especially the face at the end.
Oh yeah, a lot of crazy facial expressions and everything. Another interesting detail is that the way they design Robotnik, we always see his eyes. It's never his spectacles. We actually see his eyes visible throughout the whole story.
Yeah, that is kind of unique indeed. Oh well.
But yeah, I really like this story. It's pretty hilarious. And so I haven't read the other mangas, but I know I mostly just looked at visuals. I know there's one story where Robotnik finds this weird creature and uses it to turn like statues and Sonic's friends, basically like everything, to have Robotnik's face on it, which just seems very in character for the guy.
Nice. Then again, it doesn't really matter that you don't know what they're saying. Everything is so random and silly. Even knowing the text, it still barely makes sense. But yeah, Captain, do you have an opinion on this manga?
It is very Japanese. The
Yes, it is.
style of humor, the style of storytelling, the art style, obviously. It's it's so different from what we expect of Sonic, because Sonic is usually portrayed in a more like Western style. That like it's funny to see this like traditional Japanese wackiness that you find in manga.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
Dr. Slumpish or something, yeah. Although it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting because people say like, oh, they only made Sonic more Western. There's never been like any official Sonic stuff where he's doing Japanese culture stuff. Like, well, here it is. It is doing Japanese culture. It's just only in Japan because yeah, there's definitely a huge culture difference between that and how the Americans see Sonic.
Guess we have to pester Sega to make an anime adaptation of these two mangas.
Yeah.
That's never gonna happen. Or you have to look at me and, you have to do it. Oh boy.
Yeah, that actually would be pretty hilarious because like at least from the visuals I've seen from these mangas, it does kind of feel like this is what Sonic Boom should have been. Being a lot more wacky and crazy and not being so extremely meta and self-aware.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, this is pretty much a Japanese Sonic Boom. Yeah, that's how I describe it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll go into the other manga chapters on the stream at some point. But yeah, considering Halloween's coming, this seemed a little appropriate, I suppose.
Yeah.
So our big dramatic introduction to this.
Yeah, guys, is a first look into the Japanese side of Sonic.
Yes, and I love it.
Can't wait to see more of it.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the pages translated too. It'll take some time, but I'm a patient guy, so yeah.
Fair enough. Takes a lot of time to do all that work.
Oh yes.
For free entertainment.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to the IDW comics?
Yes, we are. So.
All right, straight from Japanese horror to Japanese humor to Western horror.
but barely any humor at all.
Oh
First
yeah.
Yet again, I love the cover.
Oh yeah.
Which cover is that?
Oh, the one with all the
John
characters.
Gray.
Yeah, that's a
John
good.
Gray.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should have looked at more covers.
Yeah, because like with the
comments said that.
yeah, in the 2020 annual special, like the main cover we looked at, that was more about like, oh, kind of celebrating IDW Sonic's 2-year anniversary, yay! While you look at all the other variation covers, and they're more like in tune, like representing what the stories are. Like there's one with Big and Froggy, and there's one with Metal Sonic covered in the Metal Virus. Yeah.
Maybe we'll look at them later after we're going we're burning kind of through our conversation topics anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, the main cover, I found that pretty entertaining, seeing all like the main characters and then seeing the Zombot versions of them. And of course, another interesting detail is that Marie the Raccoon is in there, which is funny because she still has yet to appear in these comics.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and also I like how it has that Marvel Zombies look to it.
Marble zombie look? What do you mean?
Yeah, there's like a series in Marvel Comics called Marvel Zombies, which is what happens when all the Marvel superheroes are zombies, and it was also done as a What If episode. It was a thing in the Marvel Comics.
Okay, I didn't know
What
that.
If stories, yeah.
All right.
Fun fact about that: there is a heavy implication that Albert Wesker from Resident Evil had something to do with that.
Oh, he's canon in Marvel now? Oh boy.
What?
Well, there is Marvel vs. Capcom crossovers.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, in one issue of Marvel Zombies, there is a shadowy figure that resembles Wesker.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's kind of clever. I didn't expect that. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah. So aside from the main cover, the only other variant cover I feel like pointing out is the oh, what? It's listed as cover B in the comic, but basically it's this one where it shows Sonic and Tangle running through some kind of sunset village, but the art style is pretty much more in tune to the Sonic Advance games, so it's nice to see those games get some love.
Sure, absolutely. I love the art style of those games. But yeah, I guess we go through the actual issues now. Who wants to do describe the first manga, IDW?
I
The
guess
one
I
with
might as well do
Espio. Yeah, okay. Like you haven't talked yet enough yet.
it. Yeah, as if people haven't gotten tired of me yet. Right, so issue 24. So we pick up where Sonic's running off to Spiral Hill, Spiral Village, which the place hasn't changed much. Where it was attacked by Robotnik's robots, but now it's attacked by Robotnik's zombots. So we see the Restoration desperately trying to save people that aren't infected, and it really shows just how exhausted and aggravated these characters are. Like, Cream is just completely devoid of her personality. Espio lunges out at Sonic for the whole deal with letting Eggman live in Windmill Village. So while that's going on, they eventually find Tangle, who's fighting off the zombots, and it turns out that little encounter she had with the zombot Jewel, she's now slowly getting infected with the metal virus. So she pretty much manages to stand her ground, fighting off the zombots as best they could while the survivors get away. So yeah, it's definitely a very depressing story in this particular issue.
Yeah, little story, just more depressing. Man, it's kind of shocking how heavy this story remains.
Yeah, in fact, one thing I want to bring attention to is the map drawn by Cream at the beginning is slowly getting more and more X's in it, and even a lot of characters are getting crossed out.
Oh wow, I didn't notice
yeah.
that.
Yeah, the whole map thing has been this ongoing feature that appears in the comics, where it's in that story so far segment that happens at the beginning. I'm not sure if there's scans of it, but it's mostly present in the original issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're all drawn in crayon, and now there's a whole bunch of red X's over a lot of places and characters.
Yeah.
How cheerful. Man, there's so much heavier and even the Sonic CTM stories were, because we never actually saw the infestation just happen instantaneously, but just go straight to the cool stuff. Well, here you really feel the weight of the whole takeover.
Oh yeah, and Whisper didn't take losing Tangle very well, and the artwork helped that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, being losing the only friend that she had back then. And another thing I also noticed is that Amy's trying to hold her back, and Whisper looks like she's about ready to attack her. But when I look at it closely, it almost looks like the way her arm is positioned, kind of cut off that way. It almost looks like she's strangling Amy.
Oh wow, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, kind of the way it is. It might be above the head, but the way I see it, it kind of looks like it might be under the head. But then again, some characters don't have necks. But still, it does look like she's strangling the poor girl, which of course the Wisps have to hold her back.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And also, it's pretty sad to see Tangle fully becoming a zombot, where it's all gold and that.
Yeah, that was depressing and intense and badass kind of.
And she had this very heroic last stand moment that was really, really cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've never read these IDW comics before we started doing this, so I'm starting to understand why people like Tangle so much.
Yeah. It's the contrast, her upbeat, cheerful, happy thing, and then turning into this. You get really this juxtaposition.
She has this fangirling moment as she tells Sonic her brilliant plan to delay the zombots, and she's making all kinds of nerdy faces.
Oh yeah, she's all being excited and being part of the adventure again.
Yeah, there's also this weird moment where, as she's fighting off zombots, she puts chairs over her feet so she can kick the zombots, which. Well, first off, it was pointless because she's infected. I guess it was to slow infection, but
fair enough, yeah.
If a chair can protect you, why can't your shoes?
That's a very good point, yeah. Or your clothes.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And that just, I guess, proves that these
Maybe
characters
aren't organic.
These characters' clothes are just part of them because they do transform with them. So
yeah.
That's a good point. And we don't know if the chairs work. See, it was just a desperate attempt
How
for.
do chairs work?
They're chairs. They made of wood.
You can sit on them. You smart ass, Luke.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think one interesting detail is that, like with Tangle, I always kind of compared her more to Pinkie Pie, being hyperactive, and it feels like she has no limit to how far her tail can go. But in this issue, this is the first time we see that there is a limit. Like, they're running around those street lights, and eventually she says, like, okay, no more, you're gonna pull my butt out.
Yep.
According to Ian Flynn, the distance her tail can stretch is far.
Oh wow, that's very helpful. If his entire encyclopedia is going to be full of that information, then that's going to be lovely. Yeah, but man, I love the artwork. It's great.
Yeah, especially with the way that they design Whisper. She definitely looks a little more intimidating, mostly just because of how the way her muzzle is designed, kind of looking more wolf-like and not just the standard, round shape.
Yep. Awesome
Then
stuff.
of course we see Cream, but of course she's no longer the perky, cheerful girl. She's like really exhausted, which of course Amy explains to Sonic that her mom got infected and she saw everything. And I remember someone was criticizing like, Cream's out of character in this story, and just because of that one panel. And I later found out that the guy that ranted about it never bothered reading the IDW Sonic comics because they take place after the events of Sonic Forces. So yeah, whenever
Oh my god.
the guy is ranting about the comics, he always takes them out of context, which is really annoying. And in some ways, it's pretty much one of the reasons why like comics like the R2 Sonic and IDW Sonic usually get a lot of damage because of people that don't actually give the damn comics a chance. Oy.
That's kind of pathetic, yeah. Oh well.
Oh yeah, then the ending that we see, it's a pretty short scene, but basically we see Robotnik and Starlin doing their discussions, and thus we have the Deadly Six invading the face ship.
Yes, which leads us to the next issue, where finally the Deadly Six take their first action.
Yes, issue 25, the comic's first milestone story.
So, Captain or Luke, do you want to do a synopsis of this issue?
Sure, I'll take it. So, Dr. Starline had, of course, brought the Deadly Six onto the face ship, and naturally, they immediately backstab him.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise.
We do get some clarification that the Caconophus conch only works as long as you're blowing into it, so his brief little blow did nothing to stop them. Which makes you wonder why Eggman was so effective with it.
And I guess Robotnik just has bigger lungs than Starlin.
Well, and Dr. Eggman is in his air flying machine, so it takes Eddie longer to get to him, while Dr. Starlin was standing right next to them, so I guess that's a mistake he made.
That's true, yeah.
So, the Restoration has landed on Angel Island. Knuckles, who has, of course, been oblivious to all of this, has to be brought up to speed really quickly. Sonic is, like, almost fully infected.
That's another thing we've got to mention about the previous issue, where it's revealed by Jamurl that the speed that slows down the metal virus, well, now it's starting to wear off, so Sonic's becoming more and more of a zombot.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So there's so after escaping the Deadly Six, Eggman and Dr. Starline also escape to Angel Island because it's the only place that's safe from them. And so we have our first hero and villain team up of the IDW comics.
Took the longer than Sonic Boom, at least.
Yeah, well, this is more the first time where it's the first time we see Sonic and Robotnik teaming up and taking seriously again, unlike what Lost World and Sonic Boom did, where it's like, this is the first time, herpy derp, shit like that.
Well, they're still very antagonistic toward each other.
Oh yes.
So
best friends.
So yeah, they're now working together to try and solve the Zombot crisis. And Whisper almost assassinates Eggman.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
And they eventually form a plan to take down the Deadly Six. and it involves them recruiting the Babylon Rogues, shockingly enough.
Yeah, we get to see the Babylon Rogues again.
Which is especially funny because, like, Amy somehow has their phone number.
Yeah. That was a neat surprise.
Yeah.
Oh well, they're
Well, yeah.
thieves, so of course they want to be contacted.
So there's a lot of details about this comic that I really like and wanted to bring up. One is Eggman admitting that, like, I can't hire good help, but I sure can build it, which is the only compliment I think he's given to Orbot and Cubot, is that they
Yeah.
are competent help.
Oh,
Yeah.
and they kind of are. I'm shocked that they're actually helpful in this comic. Like in the games, they never did anything useful whatsoever, except in Unleash, perhaps. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the scene where Whisper is going to shoot Eggman, Cream stops her, and she's carrying Omega's head, and Omega's just there for a little bit of comic relief. I loved it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite scenes. Although there is one segment that kind of ruins it, and that's the whole bit where she says, like, oh, I want to see my mother again, and Cream and Chocola. I'm like, wait, what? She's referring to herself? Yeah, is this? I'm sure
Oh, I
she's
didn't
supposed
notice that.
Yeah, she says she refers to herself. I'm sure if that was supposed to be cheese, but that's just a weird typo that I noticed. I'm sure it'll be fixed when this comic gets reprinted in the graphic novel volumes.
oh,
Oof,
whoopsie poops, that's a silly mistake.
But still, yeah, it's one of my favorites. We see Cream kind of like trying to be more of the positive one, even when her friends and her own mother got turned to Zamba. She still manages to stop Whisper from killing Robotic because she pronounces like, oh, we need everyone to help.
But I do kind of want to know her thought process to indeed bring Omega along. Oh, you're gonna help me with this. It's like I'm gonna be the nice one, and you're gonna be the mean one.
Good
Well,
cop, bad cop.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of like, well, she does kind of mention it when she hugs Whisper and says, oh, we'll stay with you so you won't feel lonely. And Omega just replies with, I am not lonely, I am enraged. So maybe that's the reason why Cream brought Omega's head, just to not make him feel lonely.
Yeah.
Ah.
I like how expressive some of the characters are in this issue. Like Whisper, after talking to Cream, that she can't shoot Eggman, or Starlight realizing he's being betrayed when Metal Sonic manhandles him.
Oh right, yeah. The artwork is amazing. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
That was something I wanted to bring up about the last issue too, but forgot. The art style in that one is very. It's literally sketchy. Like the lines are a lot thinner and blurrier. It's very interesting, and it works well for that issue.
Yeah,
Right.
especially
But
as the
anyway-
viewing starts to get more darker and grittier.
Absolutely, yeah. Kind of reminds me of
back
you
to-
Disney movies in the 80s. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But back to this one. Something else I kind of wanted to bring up is this issue kind of disproves a theory I've actually had.
Oh,
Is
really?
that these Babylon Rogues are non-canon. Because, like, the Babylon Rogues only really ever canonically appear in Sonic Riders, which always had a more futuristic aesthetic than the rest of the Sonic series. So I always figured that took place in its own timeline, where it's, like, several years in the future.
I always thought they were canon. I mean, Sonic Heroes also has a futuristic city, doesn't it? And Sonic Forces now too. So,
Yeah, Metropolis.
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, Sega's kind of weird. So could have gone both ways. Who knows? And even now, I'm still not sure if they're canon because it might just be Sega doing. Yeah, I sure use them, and then 5 minutes later, actually no, don't use them. They're kind of
Well, no, I
wishy-washy.
Well, no, I guess considering the fact that we haven't had a new Sonic Riders game in a long time and the Babylon Rogues have kind of fallen into obscurity, it feels like they're kind of in that category of like, oh, obscure characters, sure, whatever, do what you want. Because that's kind of the rule that happened with Archie Sonic, specifically with the new canon, where they had a lot more fun utilizing more obscure characters like Wendy Witchcard or Goons from Tail Sky Patrol and others.
True. I guess the Babylon Rogues are now replaced by Dodonga Pa. I'm sure he's just as popular as the Babylon Rogues are.
And not really. Like, I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Like, yeah, new character. You think there's like a bunch of fan art of the guy, but no, there's barely any fan art of that Dodonpa guy. Yeah,
Maybe
not
he's
even
not
the
that interesting.
What do you say?
Not
Luke?
even the.
I was like, maybe he's not that interesting.
No.
No, not really. It's like, yeah, no fan art. Not even the Sonic porn artists want to bother with that guy.
You know a character is on the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, just not even pouring out of it. Yes.
Pretty sure Roger already squeezed every last ounce of potential from that character in his Team Sonic Racing in minutes.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
A thing I like about this issue is Sonic, in his attempt to get the Babylon Rogues to help them, actually appeals to Jet's ego, and I thought that was great. He refers to him as the legendary Windmaster, tells him that
yeah.
the world needs him. I think that's great.
Yeah, and then after that, Amy follows up with, "Oh, don't worry, I won't tell Knuckles about this." And Sonic's like, my ego's already been taking a beating for days.
It's very good writing. Yeah, that's the wonderful
Yeah.
thing about Ian Flynn. He knows these characters inside.
I also do like how creepy the final panel is with all these Zombots in silhouette, and you can also see a Zombot big in the back.
Oh yeah, because that was from the 2020 annual. But yeah, the final shot, we see a lot of the familiar characters in Zombot form, like leading the charge in some ways.
It doesn't matter if it's Chow or Vanilla or how innocent the characters are. They all look terrifying. It's very talented art direction here. So my compliments to the artist. Yep.
Yeah.
One final tiny detail I wanted to bring up. So the Deadly Six all like grab a Chaos Emerald and spread out and start taking over all the Zombots, and they just start using them to basically become kings and do whatever they want. Like Zaz makes them fight Mortal Kombat style.
Of course.
And Zomom has them feed him. Xena.
That is interesting with Zom there. That's probably like the only time we see him being a lot more threatening. You know, like, oh, give me food or I feed you to the Zombots.
Yeah. Xena, however, has them bring her all of the shopping stuff, like all the clothes and jewelry, because obviously her only character trait is girl.
Yeah, I do like how these issues gives each a Zetia moment in the limelight, because in Sonic Lost World I don't really remember anything much with them.
No.
Yeah, they didn't do anything.
So one of my favorite moments from this is when Xena asks one of the survivors, "Why isn't the shopping here any better?" And he says, "Nothing can suit someone as radiant as you," and she lets him live. That guy deserves a medal.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds you of this old parody movie. Actually, I'm going off a rant. Never mind. But yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that is kind of interesting. They just, because we see before the Chaos Emeralds are stuck on this throne, but once the Zeti take over, then they just rip out most of them. Like the 6 Emeralds, they have 1 of each, while 1 is used to power the Face Station.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we don't see the Face Station really change in attitude, because they did make a point of it needs the Chaos Emeralds to operate, and yet they don't really go into any consequences of taking them away. Oh well.
Yeah, I guess it's like, well, as long as there's 1 Chaos Emerald, then it's all good. It's kind of like, you know, with the Space Colony arc, like, yeah, there's like some Chaos Emeralds, but it's more than enough to demonstrate its power, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how I go with my devices too. It only needs 1 battery, and I still shove in 7 just for kicks. That's why my devices are always broken. Logic.
But yeah, then of course we'll see the whole betrayal with Robotnik just yanking Starlin's Warp Topaz device, because he keeps insisting that, oh, we'll just use the device in Supersonic to get rid of the metal virus, which Starlin still insists to not use it, 'cause it'll just cause consequences. But Robotnik's like, nope, you're fired, and then pushes him into the portal that he was summoning.
Yeah, Captain, there it is, the big moment of betrayal. You happy?
No.
Oh well. Let's come.
I'm also not happy with the idea that they can just warp the virus away, because we've already established that the virus fuses with people's flesh.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, because like when Amy first hit one of the Zombots with her hammer, and it just like obliterated his torso, but he recovered from it. That indicates that it has melded with their flesh and like not just like coated them. So the idea that they could just warp it away is very concerning. It would have to be like on this weirdly precise microscopic level.
It's a creepy thought.
Yeah, which is I think Dr. Starlin is right to be concerned about this plan.
Hey, he is. Unfortunately, he's no longer around to give advice.
No.
No, he ends up in his own spin-off series.
Probably.
Yeah, he does get his own spin-off series, but that isn't until much later.
All right. Well, we'll see when it happens. I don't know what's going to happen next. We're just going through it issue by issue.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I guess we move on to the next one.
I'll do this one.
Oh yeah, 26.
Yeah, I'll do this one. Okay, Eggman and Tails team up to build some sort of teleportation generator so they could all try and get each of the Zeti members to get their emeralds back. Knuckles is concerned that it might implode, while Silver seems to be very excited over it. So Sonic discusses which Zeti each of the team members should they take on. Everyone has their own concerns. Blah blah blah. General doesn't want Cream to help, but they're still talking. Amy's talking with Rouge about the situation. Knuckles and Espio end up in a village, whilst Eggman is alone with Sonic and tries to get in his head, which Sonic does resist, and which I quite liked. Zavok has talked with Orbot and Cubot about what he's got planning, and he's planning to rip him in half while Rouge sneaks behind him. And then they all go off to do their mission of getting the emeralds back, but then Cream teams up with General, getting involved in the portal, and tries to take on Xena, which she managed to infect, mess around with General. Meanwhile, Amy and Tails try to stop Zomnon, who's stuffing his face, and so they're about to fight. And Espio tries to take on Zaz with his giant ball, but then he gets thrown in with the Zombots. And Silver and Whisper tries to take on the emo one.
Zor.
Zor, yep. And the Babylon Rogues takes on Master Zik. And they seem to be having trouble, but they seem to be doing well. But then they end up surrounded by Zombots as well. To be continued.
Yes.
Yeah, the story sets up a lot of upcoming encounters with Sonic's gang going up.
A lot of cliffhangers. That's not just a cliffhanger. There's like 7 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So first off, it was a very dumb idea to send General after one of the Deadly Six.
Yeah, that is true, because
Sonic did Cream tag along.
They did not think that through, no.
Well, Sonic did say that it would be risky, but yeah, looking at it whole context, it's like, yeah, that's pretty stupid, sending a robot to fight someone that can manipulate robots.
Especially since General himself is usually very smart on this, but even he didn't really thought about it. Didn't even try to sneak on her. Oh well.
And the same went for the Babylon Rogues, because their airboards got taken over by Master Zik immediately.
I kind of like that their own airboards are being used as weapons against them. That's kind of like
Jet did manage to get the rare victory in this issue, as he managed to actually fight Zik himself, which I actually like, because I do actually like Jet as a character, so I like seeing him have this badass heroic moment. But everyone else, the plan immediately falls apart.
Yeah, Jet is attacking with his big green fan thingies, which I assume that's something from the Sonic Riders games.
It is, yeah. He uses those as weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love the scene where Eggman and Sonic are alone, and he's trying to put a little moment of doubt into him. Like, is most of this mostly Sonic's fault? But he tries to say, no, this is not my fault, no. But then he said that after all this, they're going back to being they'll go back to being enemies. But Eggman said that they have never stopped. This is just convenient for him.
Oh yeah, that whole scene with Sonic, Robotnik, and Metal Sonic, that's definitely the highlight of this issue.
I love their walking drawings at the end. It's such a cartoony, wacky walk. Comes straight out of it. It's like a Snoopy Charlie Brown cartoon or something. Such a wacky walk. Even Metal Sonic has a funny walk. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the peel out movement.
Well, that also looks nice, yeah, but that's cool. But I mean, just Metal Sonic when he walks away, it just kind of looks like a Charlie Brown character.
Oh, yeah. Of course, another.
You're a blockhead, Metal Sonic.
Yeah. Of course, another highlight that I enjoyed in this comic is that Sonic talks about how originally it was going to be SBO and Knuckles to take on Zaz, but Knuckles immediately refuses because that would leave, Robotnik and Metal Sonic on the island, and of course he doesn't trust him. So it's definitely nice seeing more confident Knuckles that's like, yeah, he's staying because, he doesn't want the Master Emerald out. And as well as the scene that happens later on where they're observing the survivors, and he assures SBO that if he doesn't make it, then he will take care of him.
Yep, lots of cool moments there, absolutely.
Yeah. Of course, there's another detail we forgot to mention, how Rouge is now on the face ship, that she's apparently been hanging around there for several days because she wanted to try and snag the emeralds, but once the Deadly Six show up, the change of plans started to happen.
Yeah, that kind of surprised me, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. Especially love the first picture where you see for the first time is this really chibi face. Go ahead,
Yeah.
There was a tiny detail that I think we need to address, is Sonic admitting that his speed is what was fighting the infection, not the actual running motion, which contradicts the Chapter 19 rewrite that we discussed recently.
Oh yeah. That
So
is true.
Shadow absolutely would have been able to fight the infection if he wasn't a dumbass.
Yeah.
How nice.
But alas.
Also, there was a portal reference in here. I'm pretty sure when they're opening up the portals, Eggman says, "Let me adjust the portal apertures."
Oh yeah,
And,
aperture
like
science.
that could be a coincidence, but I don't think it is.
Probably, yeah. Oh well, it's subtle enough.
Yeah. Here, now we're thinking with portals, Metal Sonic.
Yep. So yeah, finally we're moving into the climax of the story, I think. Of course, I don't know.
Yeah, we're slowly inching our way into the big climax of the Metal Virus arc. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Deadly Six. Oh yeah, another detail I forgot to point out is the scene where Cream's like, "No, I'm going with you, Jamero." So they find Cena just lounging around, and the Zombot Hedgehog character. I just noticed, I think it's mostly the colors. Either that's Mephiles or it's Mephiles in a dress.
Female
It just kinda-
Mephiles.
Yeah, it's the colors that just remind me of the character.
Fair enough. Mephiles is a cross-dresser. Ah, how wholesome. Why not? Yeah, I find it maybe a little Easter egg, who knows, or just coincidence. I mean, there's only so many color combinations you can do with the Zombots.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I like the final issue, despite all the cliffhangers. It's still the most upbeat comic because we're finally actually moving toward a solution. Because all the other stories before this is just getting worse, and then the situation is worse, and they think they have a solution and it fails, and just keep down and deeper and worse and darker and darker. Now we finally have a little bit more of an upswing. Like, okay, we finally have a mission. There's finally a way out. So I kind of like it. Finally, the heroic win we're waiting for. So can't wait what happens next.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. Especially, the next issue that we're doing the next time we do IDW Sonic. I won't spoil it, but I feel like this is an issue that Captain Theory might not like. Not really in a hate way, but more in a depressing way.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that then.
Yeah, that's for next time.
Yeah, is Sonic gonna say that Sonic Unleashed is a terrible game or something? Actually, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
No, it's not Unleashed related. It's something else.
Alright, fair enough. Well, we'll see it when it happens.
Alright, so I guess we can take some questions right now. Someone was asking early on, Roger, what do you think of Splatoon?
Splatoon! Oh, I still need to play that. I love the atmosphere and all that. It's a bit of a Jet Set Radio aspect. And I kind of liked that it had the platform levels. I didn't expect that because it's mostly like a deathmatch game, but they actually did have platform levels. But I still haven't played it, and I don't really have an excuse for it. I really should be playing it at some point.
I did play the trial version of Splatoon 2 when it was on the Switch for a time. Yeah, I found it a little bit fun. I was paintball and you try to claim territory in that. Yeah, I thought it was a bit fun.
Oh, there you go.
I love the games. I'm not so good at the multiplayer, but I love the single player with like Roger said, all the platforming levels. And especially the Octo expansion Splatoon 2, which put up a real challenge. Those were fun.
As for me, I have the first Splatoon game on the Wii U, but I haven't really played it, so I don't have much experience with the Splatoon series. I remember back then some people were saying like, oh, this is Nintendo's answer in being the next Team Fortress 2 or something like that.
I'm really looking forward to Splatoon 3. That one looks great.
How many games do you have that you never played, Melting Man? I keep hearing you talk about.
There's a shit ton of games I haven't played. Like I haven't played, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, of course the Splatoon series, a majority of the Zelda games. I think I talked about that in text. Which my only experiences was the original and Ocarina of Time, which I played the original thanks to the Wii Shop channel back when that used to be a thing. But it's definitely not the best. Friendly game for newcomers to get in. It's kind of like what some call me Johnny describes it. It's more of a guide game, as in it's a game where you need a guide in order to play and beat through the game. So,
and he hasn't played Sonic Elite. Blasphemy! How dare you?
Well, I've only played the Wii version. I haven't played the HD version.
Yeah, like how I only played the HD version and not the Wii version.
Blasphemy, both of you.
War Captain. But yeah, Splatoon, I really want to get into it. I haven't had an excuse not to play. Oh, I did play it at a friend's home. That's why I knew there were like platform levels. If I thought it were only death matches, I wouldn't have any interest in it. But I know there's a good single player to it. Splatoon 2.
Oh, yeah.
There
was also the PvE mode from Splatoon 2, Salmon Run. Do you know about that?
No, I don't know anything.
That's more of a horde mode where you fight off enemies. Like it's kind of like zombies. You just fight off enemies and collect these golden eggs. It's pretty fun.
I should play it for Halloween then.
Yeah.
And I guess my Halloween treat is just trying to play Sonic Unleashed, which I have the PS3 version, so I'm all set to give the HD version a go.
All right, well, we'll hear about that then. And don't say anything naughty or the captain will be very cross with you.
Well, I'll try to get around to it. It's just right now I've just been playing a lot of Medieval Remastered because I've just been in the mood of playing that. Yeah. Still a fun game. It's kind of it's a little bit sad that it didn't add in much new content. Like there's a handful of cut levels that they could have recreated. But now the updated graphics and it's kind of neat. It's kind of interesting how with voice recordings they just recycled the same audio from the original because apparently they just had good high quality voices, which in some ways I kind of find that good because I always found it amusing, especially with one of the heroes that you meet in the Hall of Heroes. It's a Stone Guard, and his original voice actor is just really over the top, mostly because of how extremely opinionated he is about the shield being the strongest weapon.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, Fortescue, you're back on the battlefield, yeah? You know, people say to me, Stone Guard, what do you think of this sword or that axe? And I say to them, 9! Modern warfare is a question of science!
I only played Medieval 2 on the PlayStation. But Luke, do you have a Halloween game you want to play?
I'm still playing Metroid Dread at the moment, which I'm really enjoying. I mean, it's also quite addictive, and also those Emmy robots are downright terrifying because they're like a cross between a Xenomorph, General Grievous, and a Terminator. But I'm really enjoying it, and if I don't know how long it's going to last me, but if I still have time by the end of the month, I'm thinking of going back to Resident Evil HD on the 360. I've only ever played Chris's story mode, so I'm planning to play Jill's story mode.
Oh, okay. So you have plenty of Halloween themed games to go.
Yeah, and also I've got the first 4 Devil May Cry games, which I bought, which I never got around to playing yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played the Devil May Cry games, but I guess I've played a game similar to that being Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge, which I've heard a lot of people say it's like Devil May Cry, and I'll just have to take their word on it.
Fair enough. FC, we got a question. Will Roger ever animate the Sonic in Minutes in ultra widescreen in HDR?
In 3D.
In 3D.
Yeah, in 3D. Yeah.
Is that a real
Then
thing?
No, IMAX.
Yeah, I feel like, well, YouTube 3D, I don't think that's a thing, but I don't know, it seems like 3D in general is kind of like faded out, 'cause I haven't seen any 3D movies being
Same,
released in
same,
theaters for a
yeah.
long time.
The answer is probably not. I'm too competent. And why do you even want my cartoons to look so sharp? They're just kind of basically drawn anyway.
Yeah, ultra sharp, and it kind of reminds me of that one gag you did from Sonic Movie Madness, like, oh, it's time for a, cliche Newgrounds fighter with ridiculously realistic art style, with ridiculously drawn backgrounds. That kind of, I think that's how the line went.
I think that was with in the second one where Chris Thorndike confronts Sonic and he puts a radio on and they took their shirts off or something.
Yeah, that's the scene. Yeah,
He goes, Dragon Ball Z fight style.
Yeah, Kamehameha! And then Sonic just throws a stone at him, and he does the whole running
Falls down
gag.
his head.
with the-
Oh god, yeah.
What is that music anyway? I always wonder that whole like that whole song that plays when Chris is falling down the stairs.
Oh, that's a cut song from Commander Keen, I think, called the Fish Polka for the Dope Fish. I think that was just, you could download it from the composer's website or something. It was a very weird song. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. I haven't looked for it.
It might be somewhere on YouTube. But yeah, a good old Dope Fish character.
Yep.
How did it feel to hear these guys geeking out over your old animations, Roger?
Awkward. Oh man, I'm looking for an image of my old Sonic Movie Madness, and I'm finding fan art I never saw before.
Yeah, especially
I'm so not used to getting fan art.
in fact, yeah, recently I felt like
yeah.
doing a Gmod comic where I felt like recreating one of the scenes from Sonic Movie Madness. It's the scene with Team Chaotix and Luke, the other Luke, board a ship to get to Mount Doom, and Vector's not that happy about it because the ship is populated by singing pirates, which leads into the whole
Yeah, I
song.
saw that. Really good.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't have like the exact characters to represent it. Like half of the crew was made up of like random Yoshi OC, so I went a little more creative and just used pirate characters I had. So you got like Risky Boots, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
The only thing that's not kind of part of it is the skeleton guy in the pirate hat, because that's actually just Sonic's skeleton model, which I believe that was something that was cut from Unleashed, like when Sonic's being zapped and drained from the Chaos Energy. Originally, you were going to see his skeleton like flash on and off, but that was cut out for being a bit too graphic.
Yeah, and also like how you put the lyrics in as well, because I was wondering how that went.
Yeah, I felt like I found a video that has the lyrics, so I felt like, yeah, I'll just have some fun doing that. Of course, the funny thing about the Gmod comic is that a majority of the pirate characters are consisted of captain characters. So, Captain K. Rool, Captain Risky Boots. So it kind of makes funny with one of the lyrics is, and our captain is starting to sting. Like, okay, which captain exactly?
I'm looking for the comic now, but most of the people watching this video probably don't know anything about Sonic Movie Madness.
It's definitely one of the older ones, yeah. In fact, I remember Sonic Movie Man. It was actually an inspiration for my own fan-made comic that I've never shown it to anyone because it's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
But it's called, I remember it was called Worlds Collide. And funny enough, this was years before Archie did the Sonic and Mega Man crossover that was called Worlds Collide. But yeah, the whole bit is just like, oh, it's big crossovers like, SpongeBob, Crash Bandicoot, Jack Skellington, all these other characters teaming up to fight their villains and such and such. So near the end, there's this big epic climax where I think the whole thing is like, oh, they're trying to stop this egg from hatching because it'll release a giant monster or something. So there's this big epic climax where everyone's fighting, and that was definitely a big inspiration from the insane climax from Sonic Movie Madness, where people are just constantly fighting each other.
Yeah, I was seeing the fan poster by you, and I remembered when I made my own fan posters based on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because it was technically a trilogy in itself.
Yeah,
that's
kinda.
interesting.
Good times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that old thing. And of course, yeah, good old Mary Potter in there.
Oh,
Yeah, Mary Potter. And all his
Aw.
wacky adventures. Especially his more recent one, Mary Potter and the Cursed Child.
Oh man, so make a parody.
oh yeah, I
of that
remember that bit where they got like every single story parodied by with Mary Potter, and if they'd done that, he'll probably have Mary Potter go up to a child and go, "I curse you."
Oh yeah. Because I think in the video they were parodied like the first 5 books, and then later
Yeah.
Roger did like an HD version of it where we add in extra text. It's like, yeah, there's a couple more books to come out. Go make your own. Mary Potter and the Half-Blood Prince joke here, or something.
Yeah.
Now, I could just imagine it right now. Yeah, Mary Potter and the Half-Blooded Prince, and it just shows the Half-Blooded Prince like in a hospital bed losing blood.
He's donating blood.
Yeah, Tony.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Oh my god. Calm down, Melting Man.
I'm just really.
Oh my god.
Oh, geez,
Well,
I can't
okay then.
Oh. Jeez. Don't know what the hell that was all about.
You're right there.
I think so.
Oh, you bring pride.
Apparently. Too much Sonic movie madness, I tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry what I've done to you and your brain.
Oh, jeez. I haven't busted this hard since I found this video called Dumbledore Asked Politely. And it's a parody of the whole bit, because like in the original books, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But in the movie adaptation, it's, Harry, did you put your name into the goblet of fire? So I found this video. So I found this video that really goes up the up the craziness, where it's it's kind of the generic name. Dumbledore Asked Politely, but Dumbledore's all like, Harry, did you put your motherfucking ring into the goddamn goblet of fire? You piece of shit! Answer me!
Yeah, kicks the door down, throws a kid across the room.
Perfect.
Yeah. Throws him across the room or just shoots him already.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Oh, jeez, my face is all wet from laughing so hard.
Yeah, those Dumbledore memes. But yeah, I do remember being bothered by that in the movie. I love those memes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, that's another thing that I remembered from Sonic Movie Madness is that this was kind of my first introduction of who the heck Prime Minister Blair was. So I had no idea who that guy was.
I don't think my movies are a good introduction because I never really did a proper parody of imitated his actual personality. It just turned into a wacky cartoon character. But
Yeah. Well, I guess with George Bush, people just kind of took it. It's like, oh yeah, we don't like George Bush too, so let's make fun of him. Whee! That kind of thing.
When I was a kid, I used to find Tony Blair so scary because they used to depict him in newspaper comic strips of having this huge demonic grin like the Joker. And I thought, oh wow, he's a really scary man. I hope he doesn't become Prime Minister. But no, it actually does. He did. Apparently, he's all right. But then he did, and apparently he did all those apparent war crimes. And like, oh okay.
I just noticed in that that poster that Ewan made, the character that's supposed to be Voldemort, I think, he actually looks more like Yoda in that picture.
Yeah, because in those days, Roger depicted Voldemort as a kind of goblin. Because this is before that he appeared in the movies. Because because in the books they kind of gave him a vague detail about him. But then he kind of fixed it in his remake of The Prophecy, where it made him look more zombie-like.
yeah, I always thought he was supposed to be kind of like a snake or something. That's why I made him green and all that. But,
Which I guess, I think that was way before the films gave us their own design of the character. Like, we did get a brief glimpse of him in the first film, but that was just only because his face was glued onto Professor Quill's. But
yeah, that didn't really count.
Apparently, there are some masks of Voldemort for film 4 where he's meant to look absolutely even more terrifying with a giant venom mouth, but they cut that back.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And now he's just Ralph Fiennes. Even more scary.
All those as Ralph Fiennes, yeah.
Yeah.
Went from Voldemort to James Bond, his boss.
Yeah.
I just saw someone post more Sonic Movie Madness.
Sorry, what was that?
I just noticed a comment in the live chat where someone says, more Sonic movie madness. I don't know if that's a question or just a statement, but then again, it's kind of like, yeah, how can you top off the wackiness of Sonic movie madness like that?
I did have a sequel plan, but I never really got to it.
Yeah, apparently
Oh,
they're
I
going to
didn't
have
know that.
like references to their like the Star Wars prequels or something else.
Well, the thing I was gonna do is like a remake of the one I made before that with the slasher in a school, but then more updated and more epic. It was supposed to be for my 10-year anniversary for animating. That's already another 10 years ago again, so maybe we should pick it up again. But I haven't been really motivated to make. Yeah.
You could do a Sonic Movie Madness 2, and it's just Sonic characters playing Squid Game.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I
All
think
dying
it's
horribly. Oh, boy.
Actually, it was kind of done that in Sonic Generations in Minutes, where the two Eggmen put Sonic through a lot of terrible trials, including that chainsaw jumping minigame.
Oh right,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Sonic Shuffle. Yeah, I mean Sonic Shuffle
Sonic
could work for Squid Games. Squid Games.
Oh yeah, Sonic Shuffle on easy mode.
No. That's
And
actually,
then of course,
that's actually true that hard mode is easier because the AI is stupider. Because the AI already goes to the stone you unlock next. So you can actually go to the stone that's on the board much more calmly then. So hard mode is actually easier than easy mode. Oh, well,
They
stupid
tricked you. You're actually choosing the difficulty for the AI.
Yeah, maybe, yes.
so yeah, there's some word of advice. When you're playing Sonic Shuffle, just think that it's opposite day.
The car bug laid itself.
Pretty much.
And then of course the last bit in the Sonic Generation of Minutes, being sent to Tails Sky Patrol to let Tails actually make it to the end of the level, and Sonic's like, "My friend's doing something useful? Never!" That was always my favorite line from that short.
Yep, and it never changed since. We'll see if he gets to do something in Sonic Rangers. I doubt it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of these days I just get around to playing Sonic Shuffle just for laughs. Because I did eventually buy the game used at a used game store, and I have a Dreamcast for it. So, yeah, just for laughs. Playing this Sonic game where it's the only time where Ryan Drummond voices Knuckles and Sonic.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. G Reviews made a review about it where you could just play it in the emulator. So apparently this works perfectly fine in Dreamcast emulator. So it's probably better because it's such a game based on chance that it's probably not fun to play on actual hardware. Plus a lot of loading at times. So, but yeah, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Now if only we can get an emulator to work on Amy's American Page 1.
I still have no idea what that is.
It's a pretty obscure Japan-exclusive phone game where it's basically Amy, Rouge, Cream, and a Hero Chow playing a game of American Page 1, which is some kind of card game. But yeah, I usually just bring that out just for like laughs. It's like, oh yeah, let's reference this random obscure thing. So I think for a while I used to do the whole joke of like, oh, Sonic Schoolhouse 2, and then that kind of disappeared.
All right, yeah, I looked it up. That's why I don't care and keep forgetting about it. It's just a card game. Like, oh, yeah. Yawn.
Well, aside from that, it's like, oh yeah, it's the only time Amy Rose actually had her own video game, but it was only in Japan.
That's true. Unless you count that beach ball game from McDonald's, I guess.
Oh yeah, those Tiger Electronic thingies. Yeah, I don't know if there was a beach. I know there's one version where it's Rouge and Amy playing a game of tennis.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course there was that badly commercial. I don't know if it's like North Korean or something, but there's like this really bad commercial where it advertises those McDonald's Sonic games, and the characters are all done in this poorly CGI thing. And the funny thing is that with Rouge, despite the fact that they call her Rogue in the commercial, she's designed to look like a mouse instead of a bat.
Yeah, I'm looking up for examples, but it's terrifying commercial, yeah.
Someone said Ryan Drummond also did some of Shadow's lines in SA2 during the final Hazard fight. Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. So just like Jason, darn it, Griffith?
Jason Griffith.
Griffith, he also did Shadow's voice. That's interesting.
Yeah,
And Jet.
Yes, and Jet. Of course, Jason Griffith will always be, in my opinion, the best Shadow voice.
Yes.
Definitely, sure. Yeah, unfortunately, Drummond never got to play as Jet because, although his voice was in the first Sonic Riders, well, not in the cutscenes, but in the gameplay, I think. Well, it doesn't matter.
No, I think that was...
Team Bristow is in Sonic Riders, but only in gameplay.
Only in Dean
Mike Pollock is still in cutscenes. And in Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, they needed some new lines, so anytime Eggman activates gravity, it's Mike Pollock. But other than that, it's still Dean Bristow.
Kind of weird.
It's a bit odd with them just meshing the different voice actors like that.
Hey, you can never have too much Dean Bristow.
It's very weird.
Alright, good old Dean Bristow.
Yeah, sadly, all the good Robotniks have left the Earth.
Yeah, well, except Jim Cummings.
That's true.
And Gary Schwartz.
Oh yeah, when he voiced Robotnik in Sonic
Or
Underground.
not Gary Schwartz. Gary Chalk. Sorry,
Yeah,
Gary Schwartz
Chalk.
is the heavy from TF2. Gary Chalk.
Yeah, Gary Chalk voices Robotnik in Sonic Underground, which is funny because before that he was the voice of Grounder and a few other characters in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
He was also in the Sonic movie, the 2020 one.
I heard that. He has like a cameo as like one of the generals in that meeting scene, I think.
Yeah, I think it was like when they suggest bringing in Robotnik, and he was like, "I hope you're not thinking what I'm thinking you're doing."
Yeah, that guy. That guy was Robotnik.
Oh, I could just imagine him saying that in his Grounder's voice. Yeah. Oh, I hope you're not thinking what I think you're thinking.
I see another question. So, Roger, have you ever heard of SMG4? What is SMG4? So, Metal Gear Solid? No?
No, I think he's referring to the YouTuber SMG4.
No.
Well, maybe, but his name doesn't ring a bell. I have to look it up quickly.
Yeah.
I thought the reference to Super Mario Galaxy 4, and I thought, wait, there's a fourth one?
No, it's just he's a YouTuber that does a lot of like wacky videos, whereas usually like it's a combination of like using models from Mario 64 and Gary's mod, usually just depicting like Mario and himself and other Nintendo characters going on these like wacky crazy adventures. And like, you know, Mario's always portrayed like an idiot who's obsessed with spaghetti and lots of other crazy stuff. So yeah, I feel like I'm the only one here that's actually heard of SMG4.
Yeah, I checked it out. I never saw that. Could be funny. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out at some point then. At least Melting Man finds it funny, so there's something.
Yeah, I used to watch him for a while, but then over time I kind of lost track. So I know in his recent videos he's gotten more into featuring his own original characters. Like there was this Splatoon gal that I used for a while, but now he redesigned her to be more of like a human character, more of its own thing. And then there's this lizard guy with like a magic brush or something. I don't know. I'm way behind on SMG4's content.
Fair enough. But yeah, sorry, I never seen any of this. So I'm not too sharp on the internet meme world.
Crazy, wacky stuff, yeah. I like some of that, but sometimes, like, yeah, there's so much I can take in. So I guess that was kind of the reason why I stopped watching SMG4 for a while. I was like, oh, the whole wacky insaneness is kind of getting a little tiring. I need something more civilized, like people dryly talking about stuff.
Indeed. Well, I think we're kind of done now. So.
Seems that way.
I hope so. My throat's getting sore from that mental breakdown that I had.
Yeah, we could tell. You've been coughing a lot.
Jeez, that just came out of freaking nowhere.
Oh, well. Well, sorry it's been a weird episode this week. Hopefully next time we're a little better.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll do more
spooky stuff.
Spooky Halloween stuff, yeah.
Sure. And we're going to talk about Sonic Unleashed, of course, so the captain's happy. And maybe Luke can get to talk about one of his Halloween adventures he had with the games he's playing now. Who knows? We'll see. So, yeah, see you all next 2 weeks, right before Halloween, and I guess this video is over.
Oh, yes, there's a very good reason why I'm looking forward to Halloween for us, Brits, as that's when the next series of Doctor Who's going to be on.
Oh,
wow.
Should have
it's all going to be one big story called Flux, so it's going to be like the old classic series where instead of like different stories per episode, it's going to be one big story, and they're going to bring in old enemies like the Sontarans and the Weeping Angels.
Oh, cool. So it's actually like 10 episodes in one story arc.
It's going to be 6 episodes in this one.
All right.
Throwback to the classics Who series when it's
Yep.
serial.
The classics were a
it's
lot
like-
slower, so you could tell very little story in a lot of episodes. They
Oh
just
yeah,
want-
slower
they
and
want
much
super
longer.
fast. Yeah. Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm way behind with at least modern Doctor Who. I already wasted like 2.5 years watching all 26 seasons of classic Doctor Who,
Whew.
plus the movie, and then modern Doctor Who. I started during Matt Smith's final run, so that was my first Doctor, and then it was on and off again with Peter Capaldi. I've seen nothing with the recent one, Judy.
Yeah, the last one was a bit meh, and also there were some controversies regarding the law around the Time Lords.
Yeah,
but-
I've been hearing so much controversy over that detail.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah,
And also,
for,
the latest incarnation of the Master. I mean, I want to like him, but the problem is he's way too goofy. They made him too much like the Master. I mean, if they thought John Sim Master was like chewing the scenery, he's like chewing the entire set. I mean,
Wasn't
I
the
remember,
Master
like-
a woman? I thought
the Master was a woman at one point during Capaldi's run, where she was known as
Okay.
Missy.
All right. But okay, so that changed already. I'm behind.
I'm-
Sorry.
Yeah, same here. I tried to catch up with modern Doctor Who, so I got through Christopher Eccleston's run, and I left off somewhere during David Tennant's run, which I guess with the 10th Doctor, I'm a little hesitant because it's mostly because back then I remember people were talking so much about the David Tennant's Doctor, like, oh, David Tennant, 10th Doctor this, 10th Doctor that. So I'm a little intimidated. I feel like if I watch it, then all the hype is kind of ruined. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
'cause-
it's just overrated or something.
Yeah, because that was when they changed the Doctor from like this dodding old professor into like a teenage heartthrob.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I see. There's one more question there. It's in the live chat. Have you ever heard of Stupid Mario Brothers as well?
Yes.
Oh, I've definitely heard of this one too. Yeah, good old Rich
Oh.
Alvarez.
Oh, I used to like that series. I mean, I remember watching it and thinking, oh, what characters he might bring in on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that crazy show. The one I always enjoyed watching were the bloopers, because it's just
Yeah.
always hilarious seeing the actors like goofing up lines or just
Yeah.
having fun. on
Framona?
and off. Yeah, Framona. And then of course the classic $20. I always love that.
Please
$20.
subscribe!
Yeah.
Oh,
I also
pretty
like
good
some of the
show.
other. Stupid Mario Brothers. It's by Rich Alvarez. It's another Mario parody series. This one's more live action, so you see like the characters dressed up as the characters. So it's a very long series. It's less like 5 seasons, I think. There was a
Whoa.
movie
Yeah.
and a few spin-offs, and
Yeah.
there might have been more, but I've kind of lost track. But yeah, with the good old classic series.
Fair enough. I'm afraid I never
Yeah,
saw it.
it
so-
starts off in a pretty goofy way, but then like halfway they're trying to make it more darker, more grittier, and trying to throw in like Kingdom Hearts logic into it, that sort of thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like the first 2 seasons are more kind of like wacky, crazy stuff, and then season 3 is when things get like real serious, where Wario becomes more of a threatening villain, and lots of darkness and hearts, dark, that kind of talk.
I see. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts logic, as if those two words don't contradict each other.
And of course, I always like the more goofy characters. Like the one oddballs I always found amusing was the UPS man and the FedEx man, always having their bitter feuds.
But yeah, I guess we should be ending now, so maybe we'll talk about it some other time. So, see you all, people. Thanks for watching again. Yeah.
And hopefully next time I'll be more stable.
Yes, that would be nice. Less coffee.